making a node network to create a procedural texture for checker. So this texture will be completely procedural and give you control over scale and color. I'm going to add a new material. We'll be using the principal BSDF later on, but for now we don't need it. We'll just keep it aside. We'll be using texture coordinates along with the mapping node for this. The texture coordinate, we'll be using object coordinates to be specific. The reason we're using object coordinates is because it's centered around the object and not the viewport itself. We'll be using vector math and math nodes for this. So vector math, vector curves, vector math right here. You can go ahead and choose scale right here, and next add a math node. This one will switch it to fraction. So I'll break down what each of these nodes does. So scale, so when we have just the scale in view, nothing going on. Right now it's scale set to 1, and the object coordinate looks identical to what we see in the scale, right? It's identical. So now if we increase the scale by a bit, so say by 5, you see that it becomes brighter. Where the increased brightness is nothing but the increase in the scale. So this scale, before I explain what the scale actually does, I'll just explain how the object coordinate works. So right here at the center we have 0. So the center of the object, not the center of the viewport once again. That is here, right here is 0. So let's go into top view. I just bring back, I'll just mute the scale right now. Okay. So right here you have 0, and all through here you have positive numbers. This is also positive, and through here it's negative, and negative same here. And that's the reason this is black is because everything's negative right here. So now when we use the scale, what we are doing is we increase the number of steps in between. So if we had 0 through 1 here, so here is 0 and this is 1, okay. What we've done is we've divided that into 5 segments. So we've made it as 0, 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what we've done. That's what the scale node does. Then the fraction node. The fraction node breaks up the entire scaled coordinates into individual parts. So if I muted the scale, you'll have this. So this does it diagonally. So with the scale we are able to control how much of parting or how much of division is there. Now right now this is a gradient, and we need to change it to something that's flat so that it's moreover looking like a checker. For that we'll use another method. Just duplicate this right here, the fraction. You just duplicate that and change this to compare. Initially it will be 0. That's because the epsilon is 0. Okay, sorry. Initially the color will be 0. That's because the epsilon value is 0. The higher the epsilon, the more of white there is. So 0.5 would mean that there's equal distance between the blacks and whites. Lesser epsilon will give you more black because it's closer to 0. This is a part of the node network. Now we'll just duplicate this entire setup right here. You can play with the epsilon value and choose something that fits your style. Now these two are identical. These two node setups right here are identical. So now we want to make it cross into each other. For that we'll be using the mapping node. Wrong one. Yeah. We'll be changing the z direction or z rotation by 90 degrees, and this will now make it so that it's facing the other way. Now we need to combine these two together. For this we could use a math node, but the math node will give only grayscale value. but then if you want individual control over each of these lines, then we'll have to have a different node setup. So I'll be doing that. So you can add in a mix RGB. We're not going to use math node to add the two together, rather we'll be using the mix RGB node. This is how the completed texture looks like. Now you can change the color. For that we'll add a color ramp. We'll just have one, and then we'll just duplicate it and put it onto the next node. So just change this to something more of a reddish pink color. We'll increase this, and there you have. You can just duplicate this and drop it onto this, and now that texture is ready. You can use mix to blend the two together, or you can use add. Both of them work well. Now furthermore, since we'll be grouping this entire node network, we need controls outside the node network. So for that we'll be having the hue saturation node. The hue saturation on its own by default doesn't make any changes, and by changing the value you can change the brightness, change saturation. Obviously you can make it more cool colors, make it look like more cooler colors, or make it look like more warmer colors. That's it. So if I've increased the saturation by a bit, it just becomes a bit more reddish or a bit more orangish tone, and the other way around when I go below 1. I'm going to leave that at 1. The hue controls the color, so you can change the color to this for this like 0.1, and you can let this be like 0.3, and that by that you're just changing the color individually. So you have the option to change the colors individually or separately. You can just make the change for that within the node network. I'm not going to make it as a part of the actual node. Now you can just select this by box selecting, and Command G if you're on a Mac, or Control G on Windows, and the node network has been grouped. Now we have to control the scale. If you want, you could use different scale inputs, but I'll be using this same scale inputs. It's easier. And then I need the epsilon value. The epsilon value decides how thick each square or each box inside the pattern is. So I'm just going to use the same nodes for each of those, and the next two are for the hue nodes, or the hue saturation nodes. This one I'll be leaving it as separate because I want control over them together. No, I want independent control over each of those. That's what I meant. You can just tab out of that, and now controlling the scale will give you a scale texture again, and epsilon decides the thickness of those squares, as I told. This right here will change the colors. For this, you could just, for the hue saturation, the hue part of it, you could just use RGB nodes to control them. So you have much more pinpoint control over these colors. I'm just going to leave it at default value. And one more thing you could do is, if you wanted to change them together, you could just connect the same thing into this, and that would change both the colors together. So that's it for this tutorial. Hope you learned something new. Do leave a like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe.